Today, we are going to talk about all things marketing and branding. And for this topic, I brought my personal branding expert, Robyn, to the table because she did an amazing job on everything YvonneWinkler.com and helped me redesign my brand, helped me redesign my focus and my colors, and just bring the message I was feeling inside really out onto the visual side of the website and on everything related online. So please help me welcome Robyn, and I hope you get just as many great tips from her as I have by working with you. Robyn is the founder of Studio Co-Creative. You'll have to tell me a little bit more about that as well. And helping women entrepreneurs getting their business online.
Yes.
Getting it online and also growing it online, right? And she does this in a very unique way. She has a wonderful background in marketing. She went to Queen's University for business and marketing. However, your unique approach really comes in because of your life coaching background and your life coaching training. And one of the things that I loved working with you is, well, we speak the same language. And I think that's going to be a big part in your message anyways to you guys, is you have to find someone you resonate with in everything that they help build our business. It can't just be, the best price person or the lowest price person, or, if that person doesn't resonate or understand what language I speak, then they're not going to be helping me getting my brand out there. And you do that really well, but you incorporate this life coaching aspect to really bring the truth, the inner truth, onto the online world. So thank you, Robyn, for being my rock and for helping me with my brand. Truth be told, when she first revealed my new website to me, I cried. It was so beautiful because she literally had captured everything I had said into a website. And it was just, the reveal was just one of those things. I wish we actually had it on camera, because I was just, when you watch those shows, like where they redo your house, or Property Brothers or whatever. And when they first walk into their new house and they're just speechless, and that's how I felt when you showed me my website.
I love that. That makes me happy.
I am beyond excited to have you as a friend and to have you as my branding and marketing expert. I don't even know if you like that title, and I'm not big on titles, but that's how I describe you. Like,
I love it. I'll take it.
What you do.
I'll take it.
So, Robyn, tell me a little bit about what we're going to cover today in this.
Yes. So what I would really love to walk everyone through, I know, everything that Yvonne has created with the Emerging Entrepreneurs Program is so beautiful and so needed. And if only this program was around when I was getting started, I would have saved myself a lot of time and energy and money and frustration. So given everything that you're learning through her, I wanted to walk you guys through kind of an intro to branding, how to start thinking about marketing, just some quick, easy tips so that you can start implementing some stuff as you're moving through Yvonne's program. And then, we'll dig into a little bit more stuff down the road. I'm always here. She's always here for the more detailed questions, but this is just a quick how to get started on branding and marketing.
Perfect. So what would you say? I know when I was going through your program, there was the 5 Ps.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about the 5 Ps.
So I borrowed this from an amazing author and speaker named Afdel Aziz, who just wrote a book called Good is the New Cool. I haven't read it yet, full disclosure, but I have seen him speak twice now. And in marketing school, we learn about the 4 Ps. So there's product, price, place, promotion.
Yes.
Those are all important to think about. You can't leave one or the other out. They're all essential to a typical marketing role. But the fifth P that's not as often discussed is purpose. And that purpose behind the business or the brand is what ties all the rest of the 4 Ps together. It's what makes you stand out a little bit more. You know, everyone can find a marketing coach, and, you know, there's a lot of us out there who do this kind of work, but what's going to make you choose me versus the other person? Well, it's my purpose. And, you know, my purpose is really, really wanting those women, especially entrepreneurs, to shine and to help change the world and to empower them to do that. So, you know, as you work through the Emerging Entrepreneurs Program and you start thinking about what your purpose is, really keep that at the core of everything that you do and make sure that that P is present. Hey, that should be a 6th P.
There's
present.
a 6th P. Absolutely.
Make sure that your purpose is driving everything that you do. And it's a good way to, if you can clearly define your purpose, it's a good way to gut check your marketing, your offering creation, the way that you speak to clients, the way that you hire, keeping that P of purpose at the core of all of that. And it's that quick check on, does this marketing message align with my purpose? Yes or no? Does this future employee align with my purpose? Yes or no? So it's important to have that 5th P. So the way that I approach marketing is I like to call it the lighthouse effect. And my belief is that, you know, there's a ton of tricks, there's a ton of ways to get people into your space. There's a lot of marketing techniques that, you know, I teach and I use, and it's all good. But I don't like the idea of trying to kind of go out and manipulate someone to get into your space. I believe that if you're just shining your own truth and shining your purpose and doing it in a way that's super authentic and meaningful to you, then the people will just land in your harbor. They're just going to find you and see you and come to you. So
law of attraction. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And I see this in my clients. I see the people who are just genuinely in their purpose and in their truth. They're using some of these marketing tips and tricks, but the effect is just mind-blowing when people are in their truth and seeing the business and the traction come to them. It's really, really cool to see. So I guess that brings us to my first tip. Can I get into the tips?
Absolutely.
So tip number 1 is really identifying your purpose, and with that, identifying your gifts. So a lot of times I'll guide clients through a branding exercise, and I have a few questions just pulled up to get you guys thinking about what some of these questions are, and do some journaling. And, you know, as you work through the Emerging Entrepreneurs Program, you're going to be uncovering a lot of this already, but really getting clear on your purpose is the very first and foremost thing to do for marketing. Otherwise, you don't know what your message is. So when I look at a brand, it's not only the visual side, it's not just the logo and the website, it's the verbiage. What words are you choosing? How do you describe yourself? How do you describe your offerings? How do you describe the impact that you have on your clients and what their results are? So having that verbiage kind of down pat, and I even do that before the visual brand stuff, that guides everything. And trust me, if you do this now, then when you get to making your website, making your marketing messages, so much easier.
Very true. I can attest to that.
You can attest to that because I made Yvonne go through some of these questions.
Well, we had to, yeah.
And making your website is, you know, in some cases, it was just a matter of copying and pasting because she wrote it so beautifully when she journaled these questions. So I'll throw a few out, take notes, spend time thinking about these. So first and foremost, what are your gifts or your natural abilities? What comes easily to you? What do people compliment you on? So think about the most common compliments that you get ever since you were a kid, you know, whether it's work or personal, just write all of the typical compliments down. And not just the compliments, but what advice or skills do people come to you for? So for Yvonne, she's created this program because this is what people were coming to her for years.
That's right.
Years and years. I did, you know, all of your friends, everyone's been coming to you for these skills and everything that you're bringing forward. So take some time to journal what your skills are and also what your wish is for your clients. So you probably have a sense of what you want to bring forward into the world. You probably have a sense of, you know, what that specific offering may be and who the client for that may be. So given that, what's your wish for them? What do you want them to get out of working with you? So one of your wishes for your clients was to rediscover their truth and build a sustainable life and build a sustainable business.
That's right.
And that is the driving force behind everything that you're bringing forward,
Yes.
as we can all attest to right now.
And may I just interject, one tip that I've noticed when I did this was try not to get hung up matching your skills to the amount of money or the value that you could potentially charge for your service. And that's very easy because we are so trained to think of, judging our value based on our expertise. What Robyn is encouraging you right now is to just free flow in writing. Like, don't get too hung up on the semantics or the hows or the price tag of any of this, because when you really want to get to the truth of the inner truth of the matter, it has to be coming from deep within, and oftentimes that is not associated with what we are trained to do.
Thank you so much for saying that. That 100%, absolutely. This is just a free writing exercise, and it's so easy to get hung up. As I was doing this for myself, I didn't write down what are my skills and gifts. Marketing consulting, that didn't come out, but what I did come out with was writing and editing people's writing and knowing aspects of design and how to bring things together. Building relationships. Like, I just wrote a bunch of that stuff down, and it was, probably a year after I first ever did that exercise that I went, oh, okay, maybe this is what I can do and find a way to monetize it. So yes, don't get hung up in, my background is in sales, so sales is my gift and I can make money by sales. And then you get down that train on. So thank you for saying that. And then just going back, so the last question that you were journaling on was, what's your wish or the ideal state that you would like for your clients to experience? And then tie it back in and ask yourself, how do your gifts that you just journaled, how do they align with your client's ideal state? So, your ideal state is to have a sustainable business, a sustainable life. Well, your gift on helping people find clarity aligns with that. So that's just a practical example.
Great example,
So from all of that, and I hope that when you actually do this exercise, please don't skip it, that you have pages and pages of free writing. So when you get to that point of having a solid amount of content to work with, then go back and start to pick out those, I noticed this word came out a lot, or I noticed that this theme or this message was really present throughout my writing. Go back and start to bring that into the crafting of your actual business message, your about, your product offering page. So start with that free flow of information and then spot the patterns. That's really what is the first thing that'll bring clients through to find their verbiage branding.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so. That's exactly how we got to me. So
perfect. So the second tip that I'll jump into is the name. The name game.
Oh my God. How long were we stuck in the name game, Robyn?
So long.
The name game is a tough one. I found that one particularly hard. But it's also one of the reasons why I created this program, because I wanted to shortcut a lot of my learnings for you guys so that you don't have to go through potentially a lot of money that you throw at different resources or having to rebrand. And rebranding can be expensive depending on how deep you're already into your business and into your entire marketing campaigns.
Absolutely.
So I had to rebrand because I didn't do those exercises before. I never questioned the name or the purpose of my business. That was never in question. But how I went about it with coloring and then naming my website or naming, and those is usually when we talk about naming, the naming game is website. What is your website? What should you register it as a domain? What should you name your business if you're going to incorporate? All of those things. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking the name game. And the first exercise that Robyn talked about is so valuable to bring you to the name game, because the clarity you get in that first exercise right on its own is going to really determine which way are you going to go with your name? And that was definitely one of the things that we did spend a lot of time on. Right?
Well, I was actually thinking this morning, as I was getting ready to come, I was thinking about the name. And so, full disclosure, I had struggles with this as well. And it's because you want to, you have, and I'm sure that everyone is here because they have that same inner desire to just put their business or their gifts or their message out into the world. And so I had this thing bubbling inside of me, and I just needed to take action on it. And you were exactly the same. And so we took action, and it was through the action that the clarity did come. So
love that.
A lot of these tips are to help you shortcut so that you don't have to spend a year finding the clarity through action.
That's
right. You have to spend like a week finding clarity through action. But it's funny because I was thinking about this, and I had my music on, and my first business name was Be the Light.
That's right.
And as I was thinking about it, I went, I spent a lot of time and money and energy in creating that brand, and now I'm redoing it all over again. And, there's sometimes we get down on ourselves because, we look at all the time we wasted. But I went, no, you know what? This was 100% imperative to go through that experience to get to where I am now. And as I was thinking the words of my first business name, Be the Light, on my music, the lyrics were Be the Light.
Oh, wow.
It literally, the lyrics said that as I had those words in my mind.
Yeah.
So I went, okay, yeah, that's and I was listening to like hardcore rap or something. I don't even know, but it was not like, soft, easy listening. It was like
so it was a surprise.
So it was a surprise, but it's, and I mean, I think that's a side note. I'm going to detour for a second. And as we are all going through this, it's so important to pay attention to those little signs and messages. They're always coming at us.
100%.
We don't always notice. I may not have noticed the lyrics of the rap that I was listening to, but I've learned to pay attention to those little things and to not treat them as insignificant.
Yes.
So,
great reminder.
Back on topic, the name. Yes, after going through the branding exercises, you will have some clarity. There's a few things to keep in mind. So, for example, Yvonne rebranded because she's Yvonne. Like, look at this radiant, magnificent woman, and she's going to be a best-selling author and on international stages. And for that reason, her individual name and people having that brand recognition, okay, Yvonne Winkler, knowing who she is, having her face and her name tied to her offerings and what she brings forward. That's why we went back from Lotus Consulting to Yvonne Winkler, because she wants to be the face of the brand.
That's right.
So that would be kind of my first advice, is something to think about, is do you want to build your own brand because you want to write books and speak? And, Oprah doesn't have, a business that's not her name. She's Oprah. Everyone knows her as Oprah. So do you want to be an Oprah? Or, like myself, I'm creating a business that I don't want my face to be. I don't want to be the mascot of my own business. Yes, I want to build my name, but I want to have other employees and other people managing the work. Yeah. So that's why I went a different route. So that's kind of the first thing to think about is, are you going to be the face of your brand and you want to carry that forward for the next 10 or 20 years? Or do you want to hire people and, build kind of a separate brand that, yes, your identity is still tied to, but you are not the identity of your brand. So if it is the first case and you are the face of your brand for the next 20 years, then the name can simply be your name. And I would still recommend too getting the domain name for your actual name. Never hurts. Might cost you $50 a year or something, but it's just good to have that just in case you ever need that. If you fall into the second camp and you want to create a business that your name isn't necessarily tied to forever and ever, and you're struggling with the name, sometimes it comes right away. Sometimes it takes some thinking through and just sitting with different words. I sat with the word co-creative for a while because I knew that word needed to be present for me. I just didn't know how it needed to be present. So it took me about a month or two of just actually sitting with it and almost like practice to yourself. Like, oh, hi, I'm Robyn with Studio Co-Creative.
Not almost, do it.
Practice.
Introduce. I've done that. With titles and names, introducing yourself at your next networking event, and just play with it. Just because if you can't say it, if you can't even say it, then it's probably either not the right name or you're just not even there yet.
And you'll know in your gut, you'll know in how you feel when you say it.
I agree.
So
practice it. Yeah.
After going through, tip number 1 and going through some of those brand exercises and identifying your gifts, if you're stuck on the name, go back to that list and notice again some of the words or themes that were really present. Mm-hmm. So that's a great way to start. Even ask some of your friends and your family and people who know you really well, get their input on that first piece, that first exercise, and run things past them, play around with them, because you'll be shocked at, people who you might not even think know anything about marketing. They might just have a word that comes to mind that represents who you are. So don't be shy to talk to people about it, but use that core intention and purpose and gifts as a starting point if you're stuck. When you do have your business name, I'm not saying if, when you have your business name, make sure you secure it everywhere. So purchase the domain names. And you know what, even that to me sometimes has influenced the name as well, as I kind of do this simultaneously. I'll think of a name and then I'll check if the domain is available.
If it's available,
Yeah. So once you decide on your name, get the .com, .ca, .net, like maybe a few of those domain names. Make sure you purchase those. I typically do it through GoDaddy. I believe you do as well. Mm-hmm. I found they have really great customer service and it's pretty intuitive to use. Mm-hmm. So first purchase your domain name and register all of your social media accounts. Mm. So register all of them, even though I always suggest use only 2 or 3 social media accounts, but still register all of them. Yeah. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, YouTube will be tied to your Gmail account, Vimeo. So just make sure that you're getting that name secured everywhere.
Including I don't care your personal name?
Yes, including your personal name. A lot of times people have a lot of that already. It's always good to have your personal name. I've actually worked we had this experience. There's some Yvonne Winklers out there. We need to find who these women are. So yes, definitely get your personal name for sure. The reason why I say to register your business account on all platforms, even the ones that you're not using, is you never know if you're going to want to use it one day. Who knows? Maybe you fall in love with Snapchat in 3 years and that's the way of the future, and great. Now you have the name already registered. I also say it too because my fear is that I don't want somebody else to register my business name on some platform and then have my audience thinking that's me and potentially be seeing the wrong content.
Yes.
So
absolutely. Just
protect that name. Once you have all of those social media accounts, make sure that your logo and your messaging is consistent on all of them. Mm-hmm. For example, your LinkedIn bio and logo and about section is similar to your Instagram, is similar to your Facebook. It'll vary a bit platform to platform, but just go in there, get your little about or your little bio in there, get your logo or your picture in there. Just do that right from the get-go. It'll just make it easier as you go along.
And it might be a good time to insert once again. It doesn't have to be perfect. Start with, just start. Because like Robyn said, you didn't get to the studio co-creative until you passed through the Be the Light. Yeah. And so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just start somewhere. Mm-hmm. But the tips we're giving you here are tips that should get you started at least on solid ground, so that all you have to do later on is just tweak, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's tip number 2, is just make sure that you have your name registered. If you do want to go the incorporation route or the sole proprietorship route, you can register your name that way as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was tip number 2. Now tip number 3 is when we start to get into your clients. So who is actually going to be finding you on these social media accounts and, being blessed with all of the gifts that you have to offer. So when you start to think about your dream clients, a lot of times we already have a general idea, but I encourage people to get as specific as possible. Don't be scared to get super specific. A lot of times people are, because they think, oh, well, I'm saying that my target market has blonde hair, so that means that I can't sell to people with brown hair. No, you can, there's people beyond who you define who will still love you and love your brand and love what you have to offer. So don't be scared to get specific. Doesn't mean that you can't sell to other people, but by getting more and more specific, it just makes it that much easier in your messaging, in your targeting, when you start maybe running some ads here and there. So much easier when you have a really clear picture. So when you start to identify your dream client, describe them exactly as you would describe a person. What are their physical attributes? So height, weight, hair, eyes, body type. What do they wear? What's their style? Where do they live? What city? What kind of place do they live in? What do they do for work? So those are kind of just more demographic type pieces. Then start getting into, okay, what would be some of their fears, some of their hopes and dreams? What keeps them up at night? So I'm saying this fast. Hopefully you can take notes and write this all down.
They can hit pause and rewind.
Hit pause, rewind, and make sure you're capturing all of this, because it's, there's, the physical, the demographic, all of those attributes are
there
important.
will be a worksheet with this lesson anyways that will be highlighting a lot of the points that you're bringing
Perfect.
forth.
Yes.
But that is, and just a heads up, I know it's weird, it's awkward. And again, something that we've never learned, because we've, especially as women, have learned to never exclude anyone. So it's going to be really weird, but just trust the process. Yeah. It really, really works. And if you don't believe it on this end of it, then maybe what will help is to think of it. The more precise you are in identifying who you want to serve, the easier you make it for them to find you.
Yes. Lighthouse
effect.
Be the lighthouse. Yeah. Get really, really clear and think about those, what are their spiritual beliefs? What are their, how do they appear in relationships? All of those little things, just like I said, exactly how you would describe a person. And once you do have all of that written out and you do have an identity basically described, then you can go, oh, I know what this person looks like. I know where I might be able to find them. Maybe you can find them at your local yoga studio, or maybe they're a part of, Danielle Laporte's fan page. I don't know. Think about, all of the different groups that they might participate in and where you might be able to find them. So that kind of goes into my next tip, is once you have that really clearly defined, you'll know what they look like and where to find them. So then go and start finding them. And maybe you know them already, maybe it's your friend. And, it's great to have that if you can have a dream client in your inner circle already, because then as you go through this process of building your business, building your brand, you can run it all past them and say, hey, you're my dream client. I'd love for you to, take a look at what I've created, get a second opinion. It would be awesome if they are in your inner circle. If they aren't in your inner circle, then don't be afraid to start approaching people and asking them some questions. So I think we'll get into this in a bit more detail later.
Yes.
But just start paying attention to where you might find them and what you might like to know from them. Yeah. Hey, is this actually a product that you need? Yeah. If not, then then might as well, rethink it now while you're at the beginning of this. Then exactly, a year down the road when you have to recreate everything because nobody's buying for
it. All starts and ends kind of with what are your unique gifts and challenges, and then who's your ideal person or a dream client. Who do you want to spend your time with? This is your business. After all, that's what we're building, is we're building your business. Exactly. So,
that's a great point, actually. I'm going to just touch on that really quick. Don't do this exercise based on who you think you're supposed to be working with, who you think you're supposed to be helping. If the thought of working with 60-year-old men does not appeal to you because they're not the kinds of people that you want to go for happy hour with to talk about your product, then they don't have to be your dream client. So that's exactly it. Yeah. You are my dream client, and I love spending time with you, because when we do work together, we're not just doing work, we're making magic, we're connecting, we're enjoying our time together. It never feels like work. So totally true. That's the beauty of starting your own business, is you get to decide. Yeah. So decide who do you want to spend your time with. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Tip number 4 is we want to start identifying the visual brand.
This is my favorite part.
The visual brand. So now we've gotten a good sense of the verbiage. And, you know, when you have that dream client in mind, then it helps you speak to them even better. So that's, you know, that builds towards the verbiage side of your brand as well. Obviously, there's the visual aspect of your brand. I'm not a graphic designer. I will never claim to be. I have amazing people that I work with. So if anyone needs a recommendation, ask me, because I love my people. So I'm not a graphic designer, but I understand the visual aspect of a brand. And the way that I like to guide my clients through, the most fun way to do this is to use Pinterest. So a lot of people are on Pinterest already. If not, it's pretty intuitive to figure out. What I like to do, what I guide people to do, is create, well, you should have actually a business Pinterest account. If you were listening a few minutes earlier, you'll have your business Pinterest account with your business name.
That's right.
So head into there and create a private board.
Yes.
Once you do that, you can start saving your inspiration on what kind of images really speak to you and really resonate with you. Save it on your private brand inspiration board. An easier way to do this is to start just plugging in your search bar, searching for boards on things that you know you love already. So for example, if there's a fashion designer you really love, I really love Chloe. So in my Pinterest exercise, I searched for Chloe and I started saving a bunch of those images into my private inspiration board. Favorite colors, saving those images. You know, maybe favorite place that you've traveled to or where you would like to travel. Favorite style of home decoration. So start thinking about all of these things that you just love to look at, and only save the images to your private board that you love to look at. Not just the ones that are like, oh, this is kind of nice, but I don't like that little part of this picture. No. Only the ones that you love get a special place on this board. So once you have this board populated with maybe 200, 300, 400 pictures, sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's fun. Once you have that populated, then it's easy to take to a graphic designer if you choose to go that route. Or as you start to create, for example, your Instagram or your website, keep going back to your board and go, does my Instagram page reflect these kinds of images that I truly love? Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be saving grainy, poorly lit, you know, awkward images to your inspiration board. So they have no place on your Instagram. So once you get that defined, you're going to start to see your colors come through. You're going to start to see the photography style that you're really drawn to. Start again, just like how I asked you to identify the patterns in your the gift exercise that we started out with. Look for the patterns in your Pinterest board. Whether maybe there's one color that's throughout the entire thing. So pay attention to those patterns. Pay attention to what you love, and then make sure that that stays at the heart of everything that you do on the visual side of things. Which leads me to my last tip, 5 out of 5, staying true to your brand. So as we've talked about,
huge.
Don't worry about making it perfect. It will definitely evolve over time. Both of us are recovering perfectionists, and it's so much easier said than done. But the truth is you will find clarity as you take action.
As you're doing, yeah.
So don't be afraid to start. Just do it. You're probably not going to make it perfect. There's probably going to be mistakes. There's probably going to be some things that you redo. That is totally okay. But what I will say, the only thing not to discount or to mess up or to make perfect is the heart of your brand and the heart of who you are. And, you know, all of those things we talked about at the beginning, your purpose, your gifts, how you want to help, because I'm sure you're here because you want to truly help people in one way or another. When you keep that at the core of everything that you do and create, you won't be making mistakes.
That's right.
Yes, you might have a logo change in a year. That's totally fine. But when you keep that heart and that truth and that purpose and that intention present and at the core and have that as your guiding light, then really you can do no wrong because you will be a lighthouse. So I think that's it. Hopefully that helps.
I could sit and listen to you forever because you have so many fantastic insights. And
Thank you.
One of the things that I know why you're all in this program is because we, especially in this creative space, it's really important that we have someone to run ideas past or to bounce, you know, challenges and wins and celebrations, you know, like we need these people. And that is definitely one of the biggest decisions I made when I started this business, was to hire Robyn, because I can build a website, I can figure out colors, I am a creative person, but the time and the resources it was requiring of me to learn new platforms, or to even learn the art and science of marketing. And there is an art and science behind it. So yes, can you do it all by yourself? Absolutely. But I would strongly, and we talk about this in one of the modules, I would strongly recommend considering hiring this particular part out, because it's super exciting to have someone else get so passionate and excited about your business, and it's reassuring. And it's also shortcutting you a lot of time, a lot of cost, when you have an expert who that's what they do. That's their livelihood. That's their passion. And it's just made such a difference to my brand. So that is one of the biggest reasons I'm such a strong supporter and fan of your work.
Thank you.
And why I absolutely feel that my tribe needs to be hearing from you. And I most definitely would love to welcome or invite you to do some of the live training that we do in this program.
Perfect.
To come on board, to have a live Q&A with all the members, because I'm sure that there's always these little questions that you might not think of right at this moment, but that happen when you do, when you take action, right? That's when, well, how did she actually mean to do that? For example, the Pinterest exercise. So I will give you more information on the Pinterest exercise, because it is valuable for everything that you'll do going forward. And I'd love to finish up or close up with just, if you want help with this, and I truly feel that is a significant piece. Robyn, what are their options to work with you?
Yeah, well, I'm going to preface that and tie it right back to the beginning when you said, the reason why we work well together is because we speak the same language and we resonate with each other. I love what you're doing. You love what I'm doing. You know, that's what makes our partnership so great. So if I'm not the person who you resonate with, if you have somebody who speaks your language, then it does not have to be me. It just has to be somebody who knows what they're doing, but who does speak your language and get it. So, but if that is me, and I am just making a assumption that anyone who's connected with this beautiful woman is somebody whose work I would want to support, because that's, this is my way of helping and what I love to help with. If you do want to work together, head over to studiococreative.com. You can just send me a message through there and let me know that you're a Lotus Emerging Entrepreneur, so that I know to give you a discount and some special attention as you get your business up and running, as you take the leap. So studiococreative.com, send me a message. You can also always ask Yvonne to put us in touch. Yeah. We can do a full-blown program together. I can take you through kind of steps A to Z. Or if you just want to book a clarity call here or there, then that's an option too.
Oh, great.
And then I also have my online course as well. Bring Your Light Online is what it's called. So a few different options, but before even necessarily deciding on an option, again, whether it's with me or somebody else, just have that first consultation. I do all my first consultations free. Most marketing consultants will. So just have that conversation, because you might come in thinking you need this, but then we'll get chatting and what you actually need is over here. So free consultation is an offer that I'm extending to all of you. So thank you
Thank you so much, Robyn.
Thank you so much.
This was hugely valuable. And I am so excited. Like I said, I could talk about this stuff for hours.
Well, how long do we have?
So we'll tie it up for today, but certainly leave that door open for further questions or doing some live Q&A stuff.
I'd love to.
I think that would be very valuable for everyone involved. Thank you so much, Robyn.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
We'll see you in the next lesson. As always, the best conversations happen after the episode on YvonneWinkler.com/The Freedom Seeker Show. So go there, leave a comment, and let me know what resonated most with you and why. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to our email list and become a Freedom Seeker Insider. You will get instant access to an audio I created called The 5 Steps to a Freedom Life, as well as some special content, exclusive giveaways, and some personal updates from me that I don't share anywhere else except maybe texting my BF.